Hey, this is Tom Nash, and I guess you're wondering why I got all these bananas in the background. Well, that's because Cathie Wood just did something completely bananas. The lady is doubling down on Teladoc. Woo! I guess she called the Teladoc, and he told her to double down on the company. I don't know what happened. We gotta talk about this. Let's get this thing started. Woo! Well, that escalated fast. Cathie Wood went from the Oracle of Wall Street to the crazy cat lady in like a year and a half. What happened? I mean, we can make jokes about it all day. In fact, let me show you how easy it is. She found innovative ways to lose you money. She disrupted her investors' investment. She has a better chin than the Korean zombie in the UFC. She takes L, she keeps coming. We can do this all day. We can call her the reverse Midas lady. But in all honesty and in all truth, we have to be honest. I mean, she isn't that bad. I mean, doubling down on Teladoc is a slightly crazy thing to do. It's a little bit bananas. But before we talk about Teladoc and what I think about her buying more shares, let me just kind of defend Cathie here. Because, look, if you want to judge a fund, you got to stretch it out a little bit. You know, it's like old shoes. You got to go 5 years to see what the fund has done. Now, over the past 5 years, Cathie has been pretty much average plus. Nothing to write home about, but not so bad. I mean, over the past 5 years, she did about 90%. I mean, that's a little bit more than the S&P 500 at 80%, and a little bit less than the crazy grandpa from Omaha, Warren Buffett, that did 100%. So, you know, she's kind of in between an index fund and Warren Buffett. Nothing exciting, but, I mean, it's not horrible. She did have some horrible 2 years right now. Ooh, that was a doozy. Now, as far as Teladoc, look, there's a question here. How good this company is and how good this company can be. Now, Cathie Wood did invest more stock after that company reported one of the most abysmal results anybody can imagine. But, I mean, she didn't want balls deep into this company. Let's be honest. She bought 600,000 shares. Now, 600,000 shares, at rough calculation, is about $20 million. Now, you have to remember, she already has a position of $1 billion in this company. It's one of her biggest positions. So another 20 million is pretty much meaningless. What's important here is not the increase, which is incremental. And again, it's not the size, it's what you do with it. It's the fact that she didn't sell. You have two people here on opposite sides of the spectrum. On the one hand, you have Bill Ackman with a sizable bet on Netflix, just as big or almost as big as the Teladoc bet, which basically are comparable cases. And you can see how Bill Ackman, despite his massive loss, basically pulled out and said, hey, made a mistake. Now, Cathie's doubling down. She's doing the opposite. Now, is there ego involved here? Well, maybe, partially. But I think she's just going along with this company. Now, whether I think it's correct or not, that's a whole different enchilada. Let me explain. Going balls deep, or at least staying balls deep, on a company like Teladoc in this climate is a little bit problematic. And let me explain why. Well, first of all, there's a thesis problem. The thesis on this company is feces. And let me explain. I was part of the crowd who thought that the world is going to change forever because of the pandemic. That patterns of behavior are going to be forever changed. That people just want to stay home as much as they can. Now, that doesn't really work like that, because what we found out during the pandemic and after the pandemic is that people don't want to go to work because they don't want to be around assholes. Everything that does not require them to be at a place where they don't want to be and be with assholes doing shit they don't want to do, which is work. Everything else, they want to go outside and do that outside. Recreational stuff, leisure, vacations, fitness, even medicine. Imagine going in front of the webcam saying, hey, doc, I have this little Tucker Carlson in my nutsack. Can you see what it is? Can you tell me what it is? I mean, that's not really comfortable. I mean, you know, you want to see the doctor. You want him to see what you got. I mean, unless you're refilling prescriptions, it's pretty much more convenient to go to actually see the guy. Now, here's the thing. Most of the stuff that Teladoc are offering already exists. Talk to any professional in medicine and IT. These are not innovative things. I mean, telemedicine has been around for a long time. I really don't see what's the unique factor of Teladoc. I mean, they're a nice business. They're just a nice little provider of telemedicine, which will do somewhat well. But to think of them as the next Tesla of medicine, as the next disruptor in this medicine world, it's kind of cuckoo. It's kind of bananas.